Are you ready for some more fun? Excellent. Well, here to make some more fun is AJ Mittendorf again.
I really need to let you know I am having a lot of fun being here tonight, so I appreciate it very much. So, how many of you have heard the term inflation before? Okay, I guess that's like pretty much everybody then. Okay, how about inflationary language? Okay. We know what inflation is. Inflation means that prices go up. Every number you see gets higher. But Victor Borge, who is a comedian and pianist very prominent in the last century, discovered that there are ways that language can keep up with rising costs. He notes that there are numbers, hidden numbers, in words, things like everyone, forest, appreciate, and tentative. The numbers of these words, said Borge, can rise to the occasion of inflation if we add 1 to each number. So the word everyone becomes every 2. Forest becomes fivest, appreciate becomes appreciate 9, and tentative becomes 11tative. So something modern like for us would be like YouTube would become. Who said you three? You dweeb. A sentence like I ate my tenderloin with my fork becomes I 9 my 11derloin with my 5. Tennis anyone becomes 11th any 2, and so on and so forth. I have a little composition that I'd like to read to you so that you can hear inflationary language in use in everyday English. It's called The Temperature's Rising. Twice upon a time, in the Canadian town of Saskatchewan, there lived a young man named Bob. He was a 3rd lieutenant in the Canadian Air Forces. Bob had been fond of Anna, his 1.5 sister, ever since he saw her for the very 2nd time. They were proud that 2 of their 5 fathers had been among the Canadianized of the Canadian Constitution. They were dining together on a terrace. The table was nicely decorated with Anna's favorite flowers, 3 lips. Anna, Bob said as he took a bite of his marinated herring, "You look tutorful, 3-night. You've never looked so lovely before. But," he continued, "you have the 3 saddest eyes I've ever seen." They had been talking about Anna's Assatin husband. Okay. From California. From whom she was separated, while on the radio an Irish 11er sang T, 5-3, and 3, 5T. Bob approved of Anna's separation because her husband was a big fan of the Jackson 6, whom he thought were awful. It was midnight. A clock in the distance struck 13. When suddenly there in the moonlight stood Anna's husband, Don 2. Yeah. Who was clearly intoxicated. "Anna," he said, "5 give me. You have 2 my heart. You are my 2 and only." Bob jumped to his feet, yelling, Get out of here, you three-faced triple-crosser. You can't three-time my sister and get away with it. Anna will be much better off when she 87s you. Is that expression still used? 86? And okay. Bob wasn't aware that his actions were putting him in one corner of a love square. But Anna understood this, so she warned, "Be careful, Bob. He's an officer in Air Fifes." "I know he's 2, Bob answered, "but I'm 2'3". "Let me at him. I'll give him, 5? "Don," Bob said, "if I've told you twice, I've told you 1,001 times to treat my sister well." Don, too, backed down. "You're right," he said as he wiped his 5 head. "You win," and he started to leave. Anna turned to Bob saying, "Thank you, Bob. You're 2 in 1,000,001. Bob shook his head. "He looks tough, but my intuition tells me he's really B10.
B9.
When Don, too, was 1.5 way through the revolving door, he decided, maybe I'll take that transfer to 11C.
Tennessee.
Here we go. And be double again. Or maybe I'll become a spy and lead a triple life. 3 to Lou, Anna. 3 to Lou. And I believe at this point we have our 2 singers coming back up. Did I just do your job? Okay, good.
A vision of Jesus, and so I started writing more songs about light because all I saw was light. I didn't see his face, it was just light, his clothes were light, so I started writing more songs about light. And after my vision of getting off the plane in Israel and kissing the ground there, I wrote this next song. And my friend Jim helped me with some of the lyrics. It's called He's Coming Soon. His veil is in our heart, His veil's within our sight, flying high across the sky, and landing in Israel's light. Yeshua's part of us. coming soon. So this next one was in 2004, and it's about Jesus our light. And this one is on my CD.
Testing. Yes? Yeah, okay. Tonight, I'm going to sleep in the refrigerator. Just saying. You know, how many of you remember back in I don't know, the good old days when TV, it had to be before the 80s, when they used to show movies like The Wizard of Oz every year, and families would gather in front of the TV to watch The Wizard of Oz. Remember that time? Yeah. Yeah. During those days, my family's favorite movie to get together to watch the show annually was the movie Showboat. And so every year, my family, my dad and mother and my brother and me would get together in front of the TV to watch the movie version of Showboat. And in that movie, our favorite song had to be that song, Old Man River. Can I help you?
You are A.J. Mittendorf, are you not?
Yes, that's me.
And you've applied to a number of English tutoring positions with a variety of institutions in and around Nanaimo, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Good. I'm Finn Icky. E. Speciale. Finn Icky, if you will, my car. But you may call me Mr. Finn Icky. AJ, I'm here as a representative of Tutor and Tutee, and one of the most more prestigious of the institutes that you've applied to. And we're not wholly unimpressed with your credentials, I'm afraid. So therefore I'm here this evening to basically take a look at your impromptu grammar and manners in a public forum. We want to see if you conform to our high standards of employment.
Well, pardon me for asking, but exactly how are you going to check my grammar and manners?
Not to put too fine a point on it, but every time you blunder, I'll honk my horn like this.
You mean you're going to stop me in the middle of my song every time I do something that you think is wrong?
Precisely.
You are aware that back in Prince George, my students used to call me Conan the Grammarian, aren't you?
Well, Mr. Mittendorf, let's put that clever little appellation to the test, shall we?
Very well. Cassette tape? What?
Mr. Mittendorf, you didn't say thank you.
I'm supposed to thank you for coming to a public show unannounced and criticizing my grammar and manners in a public forum?
If you want to get through this, you had better. After all, it's up to you to set an example to the tiny tots in the audience. They are your potential students, after all. Try to keep that in mind as you do whatever it is you plan to do this evening.
I see. Well then, in that case, Mr. Finnicky?
Yes.
Emphasis on icky.
I'm sorry?
Thank you, Mr. Finnicky.
You're welcome, I'm sure.
Cassidy, from the top, please, there. Man river, dat man. What?
Dat? What kind of word is dat?
It's the way the song is written.
You have to do better than dat this evening, Mr. Mittendorf. Furthermore, what about the use of the word old? You don't find that rude at all?
I don't personally find it rude. What would you recommend I use instead?
I knew you wouldn't know. Let's go with elderly.
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 As you wish. Casserole. What? Albert.
You forgot to say thank you, Mr. Mittendorf.
Thank you, Mr. Finnicky.
You're welcome, I'm sure.
From the top again, please. Elderly man, river, that elderly man, river, he must know something, but he don't say nothing, he just... Now what?
Your grammar, Mr. Mittendorf, that's what. You don't say nothing? Is that what you said? Perhaps what you meant to say was, he doesn't say anything.
But that's the way the song is written. That's the way they talk down in the... well, yes, I guess that's what I meant to say.
Sure it is. Absolutely. And just another thing. Something? Something? You forgot the G, Mr. Mittendorf. Please, don't forget the G. After all, you wouldn't want to be forgotten. Now, would you? Think about the tiny tots. The word is something. Something.
Thank you, Mr. Vienneau. From the top one more time, casserole. Elderly man, river, that elderly man, river, he must know something, but he don't say nothing, he just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along. He doesn't plant potatoes, he doesn't plant cotton, but them that plants them is soon forgotten. You know, that is a lovely little horn you have.
Do you really think so? I mean, I must say, this horn is very special to me. My great-grandmother, Gertrude, gave it to my mother's mother's daughter, late in the 17th century, as a piece of, I don't know, a tool to use in the great massacre of the Czechoslovakian corn snakes. Wait a minute. You don't really think so, do you?
Of course I do!
Mr. Mittendorf, sarcasm does not reflect on good manners. Please keep in mind the tiny tots. After all, your performance tonight is under my assessment.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Vienneau. From He Doesn't Plant Potatoes, Cassidy. He doesn't plant potatoes, he doesn't plant cotton, but those who plant them are soon forgetting that elderly man river, he just keeps rolling along.
Very nice. Very nice.
You and me, we sweat and strain. The tiny tots again?
Indeed. First, you have a compound subject. It should be you and I, not you and me. Okay? Secondly, I find the word sweat vulgar.
How so?
Why don't you try the word, perspire?
Perspire. Thank you, Mr. Vienneau.
You're welcome, I'm sure.
From you and I. You and I, we sweat and strain, bodies all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that bale, get a little drummer boy. Bum, bum, bum. A newborn king to heaven. Something wrong?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mittendorf, but to use the vernacular, you've blown it.
No, but how? Why? What? When? Where?
Obviously can't go through a song and make it up as you go along to any whim or whimsy that you want, changing the lyrics to the words, just to impress a potential employer.
But I was just doing the same thing that you were having me do the whole time.
Good day, Mr. Mittendorf.
But
Good luck trying to find a tutoring position in this town.
I was just doing the very same. I was just doing what he had me do the entire. You know what? Maybe I don't want to work for Tutor and Tutti after all. Thank you, Mr. Vienneau. Two short things before we go on. First of all, Cassidy Stachow is my pianist. She and I worked together once. I did get that right, didn't I? Yes, I did. She and I worked together once before in a recital, and I got her name wrong like 87.5 times. And so I thought I would just make fun of myself by making fun of her name during the skit. So please, just a round of applause for Cassidy. And one other thing here, just before I forget, I want to remind you that if you would like to meet me out at the table with my books after the show, I will be happy to sign them, tell you about them, talk about them. I'll even read excerpts. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there's that. And Jeremy Barnhart, by the way, was our guest. So, how many of you have some sort of purebred dog at home? Purebred something or other? Yeah? I do too. Well, close. Anyway, I have a Maltese Shih Tzu cross, but in any event, it's close enough. But I learned in a genetics thing that purebreds are always susceptible to something in common. And Dachshunds, the wiener dogs, they all have back problems, for instance, if they're purebred, right? But if you get a dog who is a mutt, you can run over them with a steamroller and they get up and, right? They seem to almost live through everything. And so, as a mutt myself, I intend to celebrate my heritages. Yeah. And so tonight, Sarianna is going to join me again. And she's going to help me. I can't believe I'm going to be putting on hats in this room. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was Scottish. And she used to say with a great deal of pride, with a glass of scotch in your hand, she used to say, AJ, don't you ever forget, you are 1/4 Scotch. And it's like, no, Grandma, I think you're 1/4 Scotch. I'm Scottish. She took great pride in the fact that her name was Douglas with 2 S's. And so, okay, so what I'm going to do for the next 4 pieces here, I'm going to celebrate the 4 parts of my heritage, starting with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, Helen Douglas with 2 S's. And with each one, I will put on an identity. Yes? That's it. Yep. Thank you. First, put away the secret weapon. So for all of you who are part Scotch, oh, I've got a tune first, just a second. There we go. with this. They don't write in places to breathe in that song. It's like one long breath. Okay. Now, that was my maternal grandmother, my paternal grandmother, O'Farrell. You can't get Irisher. When I wish upon a star. So this is a song that normally I would sing with my bass, playing my bass and singing at the same time, but there are two ways to end the song, and one way does not work with the bass, and I prefer that ending. So I'll just use the bass as somebody to stand here with me for the time being. This song is Paddy's Sick Note. Dear sir, I write this note to you to tell you of me plight, but at the time of writing, I am not a pretty sight. Me body is all black and blue, me face a ghastly grey. But I write this note to say why Paddy's not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear, and to throw them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, and being an awkward clod, he said I'd have to cart them down the ladders in me hod. Well, click all those bricks by hand, it was so very slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and secured a rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So when I then untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. Well, I shot up like a rocket till, to my dismay, I found that halfway up I met the ruddy barrel heading down. The barrel broke me shoulder as to the ground it sped, and when I reached the top, I banged the pulley with me head. But I clung tight, though none was shocked from this almighty blow. But the barrel spilled out half the bricks, those 14 floors below. Now, when those bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel and so started down once more, still clinging tightly to the rope and whining like a pup. Halfway down I met the bloody barrel heading up. When I landed on the scattered bricks, I thought I'd passed the worst, till the barrel hit the pulley wheel and the barrel bottom burst. A shower of bricks rained down on me. I hadn't got a woe. As I lay there groaning on the ground, I let go the ruddy rope. The barrel being heavier, it started down once more and landed right across me as I lay upon the floor. Well, it broke 3 ribs in me left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Paddy's not at work today. Alrighty. Now, for the next one, we have to go to the English island. Now, you have to understand, thank you. I used to be a literature teacher. British literature was my specialty. And you'd think it would be easy for a former British literature teacher to find a nice, easy poem to read. And I had to struggle with it a little bit. It looks good, doesn't it? Okay. So, I found one poem that I thought was kind of interesting. It's called The Georges, and it deals with a succession of 4 kings, all named George, from about 1715 to when Queen Victoria took the throne. And it's a nice short poem. I thought it would work great. It goes like this. George I was always reckoned vile, but viler George II. And what mortal ever heard any good of George III? When from the earth the 4th descended, God be praised, the Georges ended. But I decided not to do that one. I decided to find something that was a little bit more all-encompassing. And what is more British than Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll? Huh? Okay, this is Jabberwocky. 'Twas brilliant, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All the mimsy were the myrtle groves, and the mome rats outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the mason foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to me arms, me beamish boy. O Fragistae, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brilliant, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the myrtle groves, and the mome rats outgrave. That was for my maternal grandfather, whose name was Richardson. Very English. Great guy. And where are we going from there? Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Do you know what this is? That's Santa Claus when he's 20. So, my last name is Mittendorf. Can't really escape the German quality of my name, and so I'm not going to try. German is awesome. It really is. Somebody asked me my name when I was out at during intermission. And actually, I was named after my German grandfather. His name was Alfred Friedrich Wilhelm Johannes Mittendorf. Now that's the name. You can't get Germaner. So now, I have a tune to play, but I'm cheating just a little bit. Okay, the tune is Edelweiss, which is, first of all, not authentically European, and it's not German. However, it's from that area of Europe, and there is, in fact, in Austria, a village named Mittendorf. Now it's small, I mean it's so small they put a mirror at one end to make it look bigger. But it's there, and so to celebrate my paternal grandfather, Alfred the Great, okay, we'll go with that, Edelweiss. Now, that refrigerator is getting better and better by the minute. I'm going to welcome to the stage Barb Jubenville. There is a piece written by Edward Elgar. Is that name familiar to you? He's one famous for writing Pomp and Circumstance. Da 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 da, shoo-wop doobity doo. Yeah. He also wrote this piece, which is called Salut, which means greeting love. And that's all fine and dandy, but I don't really care for abstractions. When I think of love, I like to think of someone in particular. And since the Bible tells us that God is love, I interpret the title of Salut as, hey God, hello God, hello Lord, instead of hello nebulous thing, space, time continuum, love type of thing. I'd like to be a little bit more clear than that. This is an arrangement, I don't want to say a lot about it. It's a beautiful tune to begin with, and I don't know how to say this. I just really hope you enjoy it as much as I do. How does that sound? just a quick thing. Oh, she's on top of things.
I'm just gonna say that he's been up here complaining all night about how hot he is. I've been sitting in the audience down there with my winter coat on and my gloves on. It's a well-known fact that you cannot play with cold hands. He's that hot and I'm that cold. So
I don't know what to say. I'm just going to let that go. I'm sorry that you're uncomfortable. Okay. not done. Yes, there's more. If you buy it right now. Could I please ask all of the performers to come back up on stage? All except for casserole. Sorry. Do you want to pass these out? So did I? One for each performer. Just because he fired me doesn't mean we can't come back to break up and sing, right? Did you want to join us? Barb? Who's this? There we go, okay. Yes, of course. We should actually introduce Sandy to you. Sandy is the person responsible for bringing this evening together. She started, organized it, kept it motivated, and kept us motivated, and kept it moving forward. So, thank you very much, Sandy. Okay, so the words are going to be on the screen for you, but what this is this is a celebration, this is a fundraising event, but you know what? We can't do anything without God. It can't happen. And so here we had an event where we had some beautiful Christian singers who did a wonderful job. But yeah, but, well, wow. This really hurts to say, but most of my work was secular. Anyway, so let's take the time together to give this evening, this fundraiser, this project to God. So we'll sing together. If you'd like to stand, feel free to stand. If you'd like to sit, you can keep. I'm getting a nice cool breeze, so I'm going to stay right here. And we're gonna sing "Shout to the Lord," and Casablanca is going to accompany us. I will be out to sign books up there if you would like books. Books are good.